There's just so much going on. There's chaos. We're not beating the Eminem beef allegations here. I'm wondering, is there culmination here for what we're going to see on Perception? Okay, guys, so we're moving right along here in the NF journey, and we have made it to the Perception album. And I'm going to shake it up here because I got a recommendation from someone, a user named Matthew, who's been watching my NF reactions from the very beginning. It hasn't been that long, but from the very first one, the Fear reaction, he's been watching, commenting, giving recommendations, helping me out even with the list. Whenever I was creating the entire list of songs I was planning to cover for this journey, he was right in the mix of that. So this recommendation was to listen to Outro before listening to at least Intro 3, if not the entire Perception album, because that song was released before Perception came out. And I looked it up. It was like 2 months, I believe, that it came out before Perception was released. It's kind of a teaser. So we're going to listen to Outro first. If this is how everybody experienced it when it was coming out, I'd rather do it like this to kind of get that teaser. If this is how NF intended it to be released, that you hear Outro first, that's what I want to do. And then we'll jump right into intro, not in this video, but the next reaction. We'll jump into Intro 3, followed by the rest of Perception. But for now, let's get into it. Let's watch Intro by NF, the last track on the Perception album. Okay, we're bringing back a lot of imagery here.
The definition of dedication, wrote this on record while I was levitating. Sitting in my room with the pen and paper, I'm innovative. They've been afraid of me since I was a second grader. I'm the kid on the playground, mama told you to never play, but there's levels of music and I'm in the elevator, going up to the top floor. Look how we elevated, but you don't know the brand by now, you better get educated. Take both of my arms, rip them out the sockets to separate them. Forgive me, yeah, I know I get animated. Don't matter, I still write a better record than yours without a hesitation. Never been more motivated, just look at all the minds I've opened and penetrated. See, I am the voice of all these kids that think things but never say them. Before they come to my shows wearing the NF hoodies and hats low like we're carrying weapons. Put the controllers away, it's game over. I promise I'm way colder. The fans keep saying that they're hungry for new music. Well, that's pretty convenient cause I just made a plate for them. And now I'm y'all are saying I just sit at the keys feeling the music. Got me thinking I'm Beethoven, the game needs a makeover. If you've been waiting, the wait's over. You ain't noticed y'all about to witness a takeover.
Okay. Sorry, I've almost let it go halfway through this. I can't do that. I gotta stop it at some point. He's just on this flow. Let me get back. Let me review a little bit of this. There were so many different things. Been afraid of me since I was a second grader. I like that one. I'm the kid on the playground mama told you never to play with. Yeah, I can see that. Man, this is really cool. The vibe of this is different from even though there's a lot of very similar imagery. Obviously, the vibe is a little different from the intro that this seems to be pulling from, the original one. I think we're on this same street, right? Kind of in that neighborhood, but now we've got, it's dark. There's people in various states of tragedy here. There's the car flipped over. There's the ambulance there. There's people. This image right here that we're on is someone just sitting here against what looks to be an old bed headboard, just crying. There's just so much going on. There's chaos. And so, and even just the tone of his voice, kind of that lower whisper, it's darker, it's grittier. It seems like, it's interesting because he said, you know, I've got this whole plate of new music for you, kind of how did he say that? Saying you want new music. Yeah, that's pretty convenient. I just made a plate for him. Yeah. So it is interesting that he puts it like that because we are listening to it here before, and he knew that. At least it seems like he would have known everyone would hear this prior to Perception if they were listening to it in release order. So it kind of gives that little bit of an intro feel, but it also feels like this is the culmination of a whole lot of stuff. There's so much going on. It almost makes you feel like, how did we get here? It seems like an outro. It seems like the climactic scene of some movie, some dark, gritty movie. So let's get back into it. This is pretty cool.
None of y'all are saying, I just sit at the keys, feeling the music. Got me thinking I'm Beethoven, the game needs a makeover. If you've been waiting, the wait's over. You ain't noticed y'all about to witness a takeover. Yeah, they're waiting on me to match the emotion that I had in the last one. What if I don't? They gon' tell me that I'm losing my passion. If I do, am I repeating my actions?
Yeah.
Look, how could you leave us as massive? There ain't nothing I could write that'll match that. My biggest fear writing this record wasn't putting out trash. It was disappointing myself in the fan base. Now I want you to picture me. I'm in a hotel rapping, crying on the floor of the bathroom, staring in the mirror of my room, handshaking, playing How Could You Leave Us through the speakers on my iPhone. Trying to figure out if I'ma always feel the way that I feel, or maybe someday I can learn to be happy, or maybe I can't be. Cause if the music ain't emotional enough, they gon' call me a has-been.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I mean, I've even mentioned it in the past. Like, I just expect that every single thing I'm gonna hear from NF is gonna be this hard-hitting, emotional takedown that's just gonna rip my soul out. And you know, maybe that is because we're sticking mostly to the Journey songs. But like I said, you know, we get to what was the last one I did? Real? Was it Real? Is that the one where he was on the jet? I can't believe I'm blanking on this right now. But yeah, like I remember I was mentioning, I think it was in Real, where I was like, this is almost a nice, yeah. Because we had just done How Could You Leave Us? And then we went into Real. And I was saying that was a nice kind of break. It was a nice, like, it was a bit of a refreshing, a breath of fresh air. That's what I was looking for. Dang. A breath of fresh air. Not because I don't like the emotional stuff. It's just sometimes it's just emotion. Sometimes it's good just to take a step back, have a little fun, hype some stuff up. Sorry about that, guys. I had like a coughing fit there for a second. But yeah. It's nice to get away from that sometimes. But what he's saying here is like, if I do get away from that, if I step too far away from just the hard hitting emotional stuff, are they just going to think, well, he's got nothing interesting to talk about anymore. Let's move on from NF. I get that. I can understand where he's coming from.
Can't be. Cause if the music ain't emotional enough, they gon' call me a has-been. Pain's always been the root of my music. If I cut it off, how am I supposed to keep growing? If I let it go, won't my whole career be in ruins? That's when I realized this whole conversation is stupid. I never cared to impress people that don't even know me. I strike what I feel, somehow I started a movement trying to enjoy a career, but I don't know how to do it when I spend all of my time being afraid I'ma lose. But then I figured out the reason they follow me, the reason why these fans surrounding me. It's not cause I'm a rap god, I don't need you people to bow to me. All they ever did was doubt me, now everyone's proud of me. Acknowledge me and not you ain't ignoring the following, I'm his teacher.
But just, I'm going to back it up because I want to hear this again, but I can't get over it. We're not beating the Eminem beef allegations here. We're not beating them when we bring up rap. Come on.
Follow me, the reason why these fans surrounding me. It's not cause I'm a rap god, I don't need you people to bow to me. All they ever did was doubt me, now everyone's proud of me. Acknowledge me and not you ain't ignoring the following. I'm just teaching them something they couldn't learn in colleges. This is for the kids feeling like they live at the bottom, and every day of their lives feel like it's darker than Halloween. Yeah, you ain't alone out there, look around you, we got a lot of fans in here.
Yeah. So, okay. Again, we're like, man, there's so much imagery being used here. Is this the plane from Real? Or again, like, I'm wondering, is there culmination here for what we're going to see on Perception? Again, because this is the final track of the album. But again, I'm doing it in release order. He meant for this to come out before the album, but we see all this imagery that seems to be so many different things that have culminated into this video. And I wonder if we're going to revisit that airliner that he was in for Real. And then I see the kid sitting there. What was that one? What was that one? I'm blanking right now. I'm not, things are not coming to me. I had a hard enough time trying to remember Real. Someone will call it out in the comments, but yeah, I do remember that song there where we had the kid, and he talked about a couple of different kid situations, about a story, how a kid had reached out to him, that'd been to one of his concerts, was listening to his music, was helping him through hard times. And so, and it was the imagery of like the cutting and all that, the self-harm. But do I need to bleep those words out? Again, I'm still fairly new to this. I don't use a lot of cuss words either. So like, I don't know what I need to be bleeping out when it comes to kind of those fringe subjects that YouTube doesn't like. But anyway, I just clocked that plane fuselage, and I had to call that out here.
In colleges, this is for the kids feeling like they live at the bottom, and every day of their lives feel like it's darker than Halloween. Yeah, you ain't alone out there. Look around you, we got a lot of fans in here. Couple 100,000, that's what we did last year. Listen to intro 3, trying to kill my fear. They'll get that in a minute. We about to shatter the critics. I am a savage, admit it. A lot of baggage I live in. That's why the passion is different. Really don't care if they get it. We're only 3 records in it, and this is just the beginning. I'm home.
Awesome. Now, something else. I'm gonna hold up here. How much longer is there in this? Okay, I was like, okay, so we got keys, but this is also NF dressed in black, which I've heard is significant. Is that so? I feel like I've heard that the NF dressed in white generally represents hope, but then the NF dressed in black generally is representative of fear. And I even heard that from the comments on the Fear video. Sorry, I'm trying to collect my thoughts right now because that was something I'm trying to think back now through this entire video. Just like, okay, so he was wearing that the whole time, right? He didn't like change throughout okay. So yeah, he was in it. Was that him? Okay, so it was black clad Fear NF that's wrapped up there. I wanted to make sure that like it wasn't hope that was wrapped up and then fear was wrapping here. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to listen to this one again with that context. If I'm right about that, let me know in the comments, because I feel like I remember that without going back and looking it up immediately. I feel like I remember mentions of how when he's dressed in black, that has meaning, that has metaphor, or that has metaphorical weight to the lore here. So this was really cool. Again, this was a different vibe. This is kind of darker than the intros that we've done. Like, I mean, honestly, intro and intro 2, and I obviously haven't seen intro 3 yet, but intro and intro 2 were dark in their own right. But this literally, obviously, it's at night, it's in the dark. But even just like I said, his voice, it's lower. It was more of this whispery type of growly thing than if I'm remembering correctly, the way he was delivering in intro and even in intro 2 was more of this just punching, full voiced type of thing.
And the last one. What if I don't? They gonna tell me that I'm losing my passion.
Well, I guess, okay. Maybe it was just at the beginning that I'm thinking of.
Pen and paper, I'm innovative. They've been afraid of me
Yeah.
since I was a second grader. I'm the kid on the playground. Mama told you.
Yeah, I guess it was in that first part that it felt really dark and really subdued. And then he went kind of more into his natural kind of full voice later on in the song. So anyway, yeah, guys, I'm not going to sit here and just break it down and break it down and break it down all day. Some of you might like that, but yeah, this was fun. This was really cool. I'm interested. Like I said, I think I might just even on my own time as I'm going through Perception kind of refer back to this a couple of times, because I am interested to see anytime an artist decides to do something off the wall like that, release something like this that's meant to go at the end of an album before the album even comes out, especially with someone who has such a journey type of feel to their music. The music builds on itself and creates a deeper story. That is an interesting choice. So I'm just interested to see if there's any, further implications to that as we move forward. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. I'm going to end just like I always do with a little bit of prayer. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for artists that can make us think, that can give us a song that makes us want to go back and listen to it, figure out something deeper, more that we can learn from it to enrich our understanding of not just the song, but also of life when it comes to these kind of artists that hit so hard on the big, even dark, heavy subjects. We thank you for those artists, Lord. And we thank you for being the original creator, making all of this possible. It's in your son's precious name I pray. Amen. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.